You need a scorecard to keep track of Donald Trump's cabinet picks, federal officers and attorneys, between them being fired before they're confirmed, withdrawing, him saying that he fired them when they withdrew, him doing a switcheroo in the White House counsel's office. And that's in the last 48 hours. Welcome to Legal AF, the YouTube channel. I'm Michael Popok at the intersection of law and politics and cabinet picks and others. I was going to get on the air and talk about what is going on down in Florida that Donald Trump picked and then apparently fired a sheriff from Hillsborough County in Tampa, Chad Chronister, who was going to be his head of the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency. But now he says, no, I've learned things, Donald Trump said, I learned things I didn't know before, that he shut down Hillsborough and he was in favor of COVID-19 isolation, and I can't have that. Right, you wanted the pandemic to spread. I get you. Maybe you should have done some due diligence. So Chronister withdraws today and says, I don't want to be the DEA. I want to spend more time with my family. And Donald Trump says, I fired him before I even hired him. And I'm thinking, all right, that's interesting. We lost Gates as Attorney General. He doesn't make it. Buzzsaw. We lose. We're going to lose Hegseth as Secretary of Defense, thank God. And that's 2 down. Now Chronister, 3 down. We're only 3 weeks into this process. And now we've got the switcheroo, the bait and switch at the office of the White House Counsel. That's an important position. That's the lawyer for the office of the presidency. Now, I thought that this is a bad news for Boris Epstein, by the way. Here, follow me here. Bill McKinley is named originally a week ago by Donald Trump to be the head of the White House Counsel. Sort of made sense. He's an adult guy, he's sage, gray hair. He's been around the block with the Republican National Committee before. I sort of got that one. But who was left on the outs was Dave Warrington. Dave Warrington has been with Donald Trump forever. And he was has been and still is the general counsel for the presidential transition team. Usually that person becomes the White House Counsel. But he got left behind, and we were like, oh, this must be a Boris Epstein special, because Warrington was conducting an internal investigation against Boris Epstein and whether Boris was doing pay to play, where he was asking for money in order to recommend people for cabinet positions. And Warrington was conducting that. And then when Warrington didn't get the White House counsel position, we were like, Boris won. Boris beat Warrington. Rock, paper, scissors. Trump sided with Boris, basically said, I don't care if he's making money on me, which is weird. And Warrington got left behind and Bill McKinley got for him. Now, Donald Trump, a week later, this is why I think Boris is in trouble, he kicked McKinley over to DOJ, this phony, fake government efficiency non-agency agency headed by Elon Musk and Ramaswamy, and he's going to make him the lawyer for that, which is really a lawyer for a non-existent entity, blue ribbon panel, which is nothing. That's not what the guy wanted. And now he's bringing back the guy he originally wanted, that Boris didn't want, David Warrington, to be the White House counsel. So I think Boris is in trouble. Could be wrong. I don't think so. I think Boris is in trouble because Dave Warrington, his stock just shot up and Donald Trump thought better of firing the guy. But look at this chaos that that we're watching with the pick of a cabinet. Everybody said that Donald Trump was going to be more disciplined, that he's been working for 4 years to return to power, that Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation and his transition team were all adults and they're going to help him make this a smooth transition. Susie Wiles, the White House counsel or White House chief of staff, said, this is going to be the smoothest transition you've ever seen. So we hit the ground running. Is that what we're watching? The smoothest transition ever? They lurched around not signing the presidential transition agreements they're required to do. They just signed yesterday, a month ago, the agreements with the Department of Justice and the FBI to let them do their job and do background checks because they're getting killed without the background checks. This is own goal stuff, knocking the goal into their own goal. This is unforced errors. Matt Gaetz, do your homework, do your background checks. He was never going to get over the allegations of sex trafficking. Pete Hegseth, do your homework. He was never going to get over the allegations of an attempted rape or an alleged rape, and public intoxication and financial mismanagement. Do your homework. Chad Chronister, you're just finding out now the sheriff in Tampa was in favor of COVID policies to stop the spread, and that bothers you? Maybe you should have found that out in the beginning. And what is with the switch between McKinley and Warrington for the lawyers in Donald Trump's inner circle? It's got to mean that Boris Epstein's got a problem. I'm not going to be surprised if Boris Epstein doesn't make it into the promised land of the White House. He's gonna end up like Moses. He's going to be stuck on Mount Sinai. He's peering in. They haven't announced any job for him. Where's the announcement of Boris Epstein's job? Even though Boris was responsible for all the picks and all the cabinet picks, supposedly, and all the lawyers who got their jobs are through Boris Epstein. Where is he? Where's the announcement that he's going to be deputy White House chief of staff or special advisor to the president or Middle East envoy, which is what he wanted, or the envoy to solve Russia-Ukraine? Where's that? Those positions have all been filled. Where his musical chairs and Boris's fat backside hasn't found a chair yet. And now the guy that was investigating Boris Epstein is now going to be the number one lawyer for Donald Trump as White House counsel, guiding him on a daily basis. It's not the Department of Justice that guides the office of the presidency. That's not the president's lawyer. It's the White House counsel. So I don't think this bodes well for Boris. And it just shows you the utter chaos and tumult. It's just a transition team that's just careening from one crisis to another. He hasn't even gotten into office. I mean, by God, Congress isn't even back until the 3rd of January. Look who we're watching. Buyer's remorse, anyone that voted for Donald Trump? I would say it's not too late. You can change your vote, but it is. So just watch what you're watching, because this indicates what the presidency is going to be like. Social, social media posts, foreign policies being conducted. Economic policy by social media posts. Global economic policy, global trade policy, global war policy conducted by social media posts, sometimes inconsistently. Welcome back, everybody. We're back for Trump 2.0, and it's worse than 1.0. His original transition team wasn't this bad. This is like the Keystone Cops. They're a bunch of bumblers. They're making the Watergate burglars, look like, rocket scientists. This is ridiculous. But underneath it all, I think Boris Epstein is moving out of the inner orbit and is being spun off. Continue to follow right here. Legal AF. Hit the blue button, the blue subscribe button. Help us continue to grow our pro-democracy channel and audience here. I'm Michael Popok. Popok Live, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Midas Touch Network, where I sit at the intersection of law and politics. Also, of course, I've got, with Karen Friedman Igdifilo, the Wednesday edition of Legal AF, the podcast. Saturdays with Ben Meiselas. Hot takes like this about every hour right here on the Legal AF Midas Touch channel. So until my next reporting for Legal AF, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.